This guy is a danger to other people.
And it wasn't happening just once. It was happening over and
It should be concerning to everyone.
I think everybody dropped the ball.
I'm on a spiritual warpath.
No.
The more stories we hear, the bigger of a problem we realize it is.
it's kind of shocking. It's kind of shocking to report the same thing over and over again. We started looking at mental health issues. When you start looking at mental health, you look at mental incompetence.
This is a term that I didn't really understand, before going into all of this. I figured that if you were deemed mentally incompetent, well, then that's the end of the case.
On TV, you see that, and you think you understand it. It's more complicated than that. The poster child for this issue is Larry Brown,
a homeless man with a long arrest record who often trespassed at the hospital.
Another victim walked in, had been assaulted, so apparently this guy must be going up and down the elevator. The second victim said he was on the third floor and assaulted them. Y'all haven't found him yet, right?
No, ma'am, not yet, but we know exactly who it is.
These were serious attacks. These were assaults. These were not small crimes. This was a serious thing. He was arrested for this terrible thing where a bunch of nurses were hurt, plus a security guard, and then he was found incompetent to stand trial. We have no treatment. So he was released. He was released back to the street.
Free to do whatever he wanted to do again. That is not acceptable.
Davidson County Judge Melissa Blackburn oversees the county's mental health court. She was concerned that just 2 weeks after those charges were dismissed, Brown was arrested again, this time at General Hospital, after refusing to leave, and those charges were again dropped.
And that was happening every single day with anyone that was deemed incompetent in Davidson County.
She looked at how often this happens. So her courtroom went through and counted how often over an 18-month period people were found not competent to stand trial and just released back to the street. She found 182 times over 18 months.
182 sounds like a lot.
It's a lot. And we had to figure out what to do with that 182.
We know 1/3 were homeless. 2/3 were rearrested within 3 months.
There was some money that was set aside to help deal with this, and that meant that some people got treatment, but this continues to be a problem. Another person was a guy named Thomas Harold. Thomas Harold, also homeless, arrested more than 150 times. He was arrested for going into restaurants, ordering large meals, and then not paying. Naturally, people were upset by that, but he would keep doing it, he would get arrested, and then would be released, and he would do it again. And so what you have is this constant cycle.
January 7th, 2021, Brown was arrested at Centennial Hospital after sitting inside the hospital lobby, refusing to leave. January 31st at Centennial, he'd been medically discharged but refused to leave. He told officers, "Just take me to jail."
Look at where he's arrested over and over. He's arrested at hospitals. He keeps going into a hospital, looking for help, and keeps getting arrested for trespassing. I have multiple arrests here from Larry Brown at hospital after hospital. Here he's arrested at the Mental Health Cooperative. He's arrested at the Crisis Treatment Center. So he's going, asking for help, and then he's getting arrested. It highlights once again that there is not enough help available for people that are suffering these issues.
As Emily West started working on stories online, and Levi was doing stories, and Ben was continuing to do stories, and when I started doing the Johnson Lloyd story, I had no idea that it was going to turn out to be one of these stories. The man who was arrested claimed he had been dropped off by another police department just hours before the attack. And I thought, what? Police say 25-year-old Johnson Lloyd had been trying to sleep on a couch in the hotel lobby and was repeatedly asked to leave when he physically and sexually assaulted the woman working behind the counter. Who dropped the ball?
I think everybody dropped the ball. I don't think it was one person.
I just started asking questions and calling one police department after another. And the more we pulled the thread, the more we realized that this wasn't just something that affected Bowling Green and Franklin, Kentucky, but this was a story that stretched hundreds of miles. NewsChannel 5 Investigates discovered that Lloyd was first arrested in Maryland in 2017 for armed robbery and assault. But because of his mental illness, doctors found him not criminally responsible. He was sent to a mental hospital for 5 years, then released to a group home where he was supposed to continue on his medication and with other mental health services. But Lloyd took off and headed for Tennessee, where he was arrested in Brentwood for shoplifting. He spent 45 days in jail and then almost immediately after that was arrested in Nashville. The very next day, he was arrested again and charged with felony burglary. So when he was evaluated in Nashville and found to be mentally incompetent, the state doctor said there's nothing we can do for him. And under state law, he just had to be released. They had to go through the whole incompetency testing process again and basically reinvent the wheel, which took a year to do. And during that time, he was in jail, refusing treatment, refusing medication, according to the jail officials. So it was like he was taking 2 steps backward rather than moving forward. As long as he's being held in jail, from what we've traced his path, he's fine. But every time he's been released, he's gotten into trouble again. He was on a bus. We don't know who gave him a bus ticket, but he was on a bus headed to Chicago. He got off the bus, though, in Portland, Tennessee. Police were called.
And I got caught up because...
Police talked to him. He said he was hearing voices. So they took him to a hospital in Robertson County where they did an evaluation. Within less than an hour, they released him and said he was fine. Police officer drives him up to Franklin, Kentucky, to the Mint Gaming Hall across the state line, drops him off there. He's there for a couple of hours, and when they ask him to leave, he assaults a security guard. So he's arrested again. He's put in jail in Franklin, Kentucky. As soon as he's released, police start getting calls about him there over the course of several days. Finally, a Franklin, Kentucky police officer drives him to Bowling Green, and he's arrested again for assaulting this hotel clerk.
That's frustrating as a judge and as a person.
Judge Blackburn says Lloyd and others like him need extended mental health care. But the state keeps turning these people away, the judge boldly suggests, because of a lack of beds in Tennessee's mental health facilities.
It seems like the system is not equipped to handle people with serious mental illness. And there's no one way, and it doesn't seem like any of the ways are working.
I do think that there needs to be more discussion about what this thing is when we're talking about mental incompetency. We are hoping for the best when we put these people back out in society.
I just didn't fully understand when I started this how often it happens. And what does it speak to? It speaks to how broken our system is. It speaks to the fact that we don't have treatment available for these people. Over and over again, you see people crying out for help, and they can't find the treatment that's needed.
I mean, how can we get past this?
Tamantha Edwards and Carice Beach not only lost Jose Chirino, who they consider family, but now have to live with the fact their son, husband, and good friend to Josue, Kenneth Beach, was accused of shooting and killing him.
I've been trying to get him help for 3 months.
Family adds just days before the murder, they tried to get him help. They claim Vanderbilt Medical Center let him go after one night, and Centerstone Mental Health and Addiction Treatment said he didn't need to be admitted because he wasn't suicidal.
All of this could have been avoided.
Hours later, the world lost Josue.
Sway was like my son as well. So you just don't understand how I feel. It's like I've lost 2 sons.
I feel like this was something that was known by judges, it's known by sheriffs, it's known by law enforcement, but it's been kind of pushed under the rug. And what we've seen with our reporting and what we've seen with some of these events over the last year is that it can no longer be pushed under the rug. It's time to deal with it.
I thought that I wasn't really going to be involved. You know, I saw the stuff that Ben, was working on. I saw the stuff that Jennifer was working on. And then out of nowhere.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
It took 2 days.
What kind of phone is that?
And multiple encounters with police.
My name is Michael.
Michael?
Yeah.
For Michael Thibodeau to become one of the most wanted men in Murfreesboro.
Michael, Murfreesboro Police, can we talk to you, please?
Images just coming into our newsroom after a standoff that had a Murfreesboro community on edge for several hours this afternoon.
Inside the house, what's happening?
He's destroying everything.
Albany Witherspoon says her now ex-boyfriend destroyed her home armed with her gun. Murfreesboro police used tear gas and rubber bullets during a 3-hour standoff before Thibodeau finally surrendered. He was later charged with aggravated domestic assault, vandalism, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. All this from a man that Witherspoon had only dated for 3 weeks.
She did all the background checks she could on this one guy. And the one thing that she couldn't pull up was his mental health history. But when you're in the middle of a a relationship so early on, you're probably thinking, that's not even on my radar.
But News Channel 5 Investigates found that the man Witherspoon was dating was once found incompetent to stand trial in 2009 after being diagnosed as manic bipolar.
What it came down to was this guy's family saying, hey, make sure he's taking his medication. And she said, what? For what? Well, he has had mental health issues in the past.
At that moment, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this.
2 days before Thibodeau destroyed her home,
How are you? All right, I'm good.
Witherspoon called Murfreesboro police after she gave Thibodeau an ultimatum.
So I told him either you're going to go to a mental hospital, you're going to get checked, or we can no longer.
And that's part of the scary part for her, is that she doesn't know if she would have ever known that this person who she trusted to be in her home would have disclosed that he had mental health issues.
Thibodeau was already gone by then, but Witherspoon says so was her gun.
So not only is she telling cops, hey, this guy is a danger to other people, but he also has my gun. I believe he has my gun.
I'm asking you, can I search your stuff to make sure you don't have the gun that she's alleging you to? She lied, though. That's why I plead the fifth. And that's why I'm trying to prove that right now. I just want to talk to her lawyer. It's either a yes or no. No, sir.
We shared this footage with Nashville attorney Joey Fuson, who said that unless officers went on to request a search warrant, this is where the investigation ends.
I think that if I say that my gun was here when he was here and it's gone when he's gone, I think that that should be more than enough.
Either way, police never said anything about a gun in their report or that Thibodeau was perhaps off his meds. So now the man suspected of stealing a gun from the woman who called the cops on him was free to go.
This guy was found mentally incompetent at one point, but then with medication, they figured, okay, he's fine. Well, what happens when you're not taking your medication? What happens when you skip town and go to another state? In this case, nothing good.
Police department, Michael, you in there?
Police got several more calls from people like this hotel manager concerned about the way Thibodeau was acting.
I've been to heaven, I've been to hell. I reincarnated, man. Mentally, the people who I told you, I got this to my family.
I got you.
I'm on a spiritual warpath.
I hear you.
You have someone who is calling law enforcement and telling them that this person has a problem, that they're not taking their medication, but it always ends the same.
Every time I called 911, they would ask, do I have proof? Do you have proof he's manic? Do you have proof he's a danger? Do you have proof?
Witherspoon says she was recording on her phone just hours before she says Thibodeau barricaded himself inside her home. That's when she says that Thibodeau pulled out her missing gun and threatened to kill himself.
Why are you acting like that?
You ready for it? Let me know when you're ready for that.
Why are you doing that?
That's what the want, right? No, so you want to go out with a bang?
No. Never in my life have I felt so hopeless to the point where I was like, I have to put myself in danger in order to save me.
In a lot of these cases, we don't hear from the victims at all because the absolute worst has happened. In that moment, I felt someone telling me, like, I don't know where I'd be right now if things didn't go the right way here or there. There was one officer that we heard on the body camera saying, you know, it's not illegal to be crazy. And so that was the mindset going into it, is that, sure, this person may be not in the right state of mind, but what are we going to do about that?
Any number of people could have spoken up and said, this man needs help and needs to be in the mental health court system. And that's not the only person that this has happened to.
There was outrage after other cases, and then it went away. But after Jillian Ludwig, there was sustained outrage.
There is nothing worse than losing a child. It leaves a giant hole in your heart that can never be filled.
Most alarming was the case of Shaquille Taylor, who shot and killed Belmont student Jillian Ludwig while she was walking in a park. Taylor was randomly shooting a gun when a stray bullet hit Ludwig. Just 2 years earlier, Taylor was charged with aggravated assault after shooting into a car with 2 children inside. But doctors decided in court he was not competent to stand trial because he was so intellectually disabled. He could not understand the charges against him. They also said he could not be treated, so he was released.
This man, while not being competent enough to stand trial, was competent enough to find a gun, to use a gun, and it was used to kill this Belmont student. And so there's so many parts to this story that break your heart. And that case really kind of epitomized all of them.
Her shooter has gotten many inexcusable second chances. Jill didn't get any. He remains unaccountable for his many crimes, and Jill is dead.
I think many people, myself included, thought, well, that's a tragedy. It was terrible, but surely that was a one-off. That was unusual. That was unique.
There was outrage that reached to the legislature, and there was outrage that actually changed the law. What that law does is it says you can't be released. You have to get treatment. Well, if you can't be released, it means you will have to stay either in jail or in some hospital. And we don't have a lot of beds.
So they're being released. There's nothing to do with them.
That's pretty remarkable.
Well, where would you put them?
In many cases, it boils down to money. The state does not have enough mental health beds. And when I say beds, there are the beds there, but there's not enough doctors and nurses.
And if we don't commit the beds to mental health services, we're going to have the Mr. Taylors, we're going to have the Mr. Lloyds, and there are going to be more and more of them wandering around in society.
And here's what I asked myself. I asked myself, has this just recently been happening? Or since we're focused on it, we see that it's happening more and more. And I fear that it's been happening for a long time, and we just haven't been reporting on it.
It's definitely a crisis. There's no question about that.
Since 2019, more than 23,000 people in Davidson County have been involuntarily committed, meaning sent to a psychiatric hospital against their will. But judges started noticing they were seeing many of the same people over and over. Judge Blackburn's office put together this spreadsheet showing the county's repeat involuntary hospitalizations.
This system is broken. We've got to fix it.
The data showed over a recent 4-year period, numerous people committed 20 times or more. It also showed they often went to different psychiatric hospitals each time, and those hospitals were not communicating about the patient's history. Take Natalie, not her real name. She was hospitalized 39 different times and went to 5 different psychiatric hospitals.
There's no communication. There's no database. So if I got arrested and a police officer typed it in, there wouldn't be any sort of sign that says this person has mental illness, they need treatment, or here's a history of their treatment, much as if I had a criminal history.
They did have a criminal record.
There's reached across states.
Yes. Yes, and that made it even more complicated because now you're looking for records from different jurisdictions, you're looking for records from different states, and they look different.
We haven't even talked about Carl Hamilton. He was arrested for kidnapping.
He's been arrested nearly 100 times in Davidson County. In 2020, he pleaded guilty to kidnapping a woman and served 2 years in prison. He's now back in jail charged with aggravated rape of a woman at a Nashville apartment complex. Incredibly, the day before that alleged rape, he was released from the Davidson County Jail because he was found not competent to stand trial after his latest arrests.
So how frustrated are you by Carl Hamilton?
Oh, absolutely. We were absolutely devastated when we heard what had happened.
The doctor determined Hamilton was not competent to stand trial on a series of misdemeanor charges, including criminal trespassing at the apartment complex where the rape happened. But the doctor did say Hamilton might become competent if he received treatment in the jail.
So why didn't he get treatment?
There is no jail-based competency training program in place.
So all you can do is release him.
All you can do is release him at that point, and that's what happened.
So people who need this treatment are being turned away, being sent back out on the streets only to get in trouble again and get back into the system.
That is a person who should not be on the streets, but that is a person who also needs help and has not gotten it. The system has failed them. It seemed like these stories generated an awareness that led to change.
Lawmakers passed Jillian's Law, which goes into effect this July. It's named for Belmont student Jillian Ludwig, who was shot and killed while walking in a park. The man who shot her had been released from jail after being found too intellectually disabled to understand the charges against him.
You know, if it's just a Band-Aid, okay, Band-Aids sometimes do a little bit. Will it be a major help? We can only hope.
There are many people who are suffering. The folks who are experiencing these mental health issues, they're suffering as well. They may commit some of the most horrendous crimes we'll ever see, but it doesn't mean that we ignore it.
Well, the law says they have to receive treatment. They can't just be released to the street. That sounds great. If they can't just be released to the street, where are they going to be? It just seems inappropriate to keep releasing people over and over again with no follow-up care and hoping that everything's okay.
And I got caught up because
We're not going to stop reporting on this because what we're seeing now, these sorts of situations are not going to stop.
This was frustrating, certainly for victims, certainly for anyone who can see it. It was frustrating for judges. It was frustrating for everybody who knew anything about it. And it wasn't happening just once. It was happening over and over again.
You know, it goes back to the responsibility of understanding, like, we're here to help them share their story. It was interesting seeing it from that lens, being the person who was going through the documents with the victim. But it shouldn't take a victim trying to trace down the records of this person to show police that they are a harm to others.
I think this affects everyone. These are people in our society who need our help and our attention. There will be others out there whose lives will be changed forever until we pay attention and do something.
Why did I want to tackle mental health? I believe it's one of the issues of our time. I had a friend in our neighborhood who had mental health issues and couldn't find help. I have other friends that have children that have mental health issues and cannot find help. When you dive into mental health, which I think is one of the issues of our time, then you begin to find all kinds of things that come up. And this mental incompetency is one of them. But you do hope by reporting on it, you shed light on it, the legislature takes it up, and it makes a difference. Yes, we're going to keep doing these stories. We'll keep doing these stories. There's so many more to do. We have found this issue, and we know this issue is important, and we are not going to stop reporting on this issue.